My name is Kathleen J. Jeans. I'm 29 years old, and until a few weeks ago, I thought I was standing at the doorway of the life I had always wanted. I had been with Nolan Mercer for 4 years, engaged for 8 months, and even though we were not perfect, I believed we were solid. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady in the way that makes you trust tomorrow before it arrives. We had just put a deposit down on a house together. Most of it came from me. About $45,000 I had been saving since my early 20s. Every bonus, every tax refund, every quiet sacrifice I never complained about. Nolan contributed $8,000, and I told myself that was fine because we were building one future, not keeping score. The wedding was set for June. His parents loved me. My parents loved him. Everyone kept saying it looked like everything was falling into place. Then 3 weeks ago, Nolan came home from work looking exhausted. I was making dinner, just pasta, nothing fancy, the kind of weeknight meal you cook because life feels normal and safe. He dropped his bag by the door and stood there too long before speaking. "I need to talk to you." Those words always sound like a door closing before you even know what room you are in. I turned down the stove. "Okay, what's wrong?" He rubbed his face with both hands. "I'm so tired, Kathleen. Work has been insane. Wedding planning is stressing me out, and I feel like I can't breathe. I need a few days to myself, just to reset." I tried to keep my voice level. "What do you mean, a few days?" "Maybe I'll stay at my brother's place, or get an Airbnb near the lake. I just need space to think and rest. No pressure, no expectations, just me time." I turned off the stove completely. "Are we okay?" He crossed the kitchen and hugged me tight. His face was pressed against my hair when he said, "Of course, I love you. It's not about us. I just need this, okay? I'll text you every day." I did not want to become the woman who made his exhaustion about herself. I did not want to be clingy, suspicious, or unfair. So I swallowed the little warning bell ringing in my chest and nodded. "All right," I said. "Take the time you need." He left the next morning with a duffel bag. He kissed me goodbye at the door, told me he would be back by the end of the week, and smiled like this was temporary. "Day 1, he texted. "Found a cute little place near the lake. Already feel more relaxed. Love you." Day 2, "Went for a long walk. Feeling better. Miss you." Day 3, nothing. Day 4, I texted, "Hey, just checking in. You good?" No response until almost 11 that night. "Yeah, sorry. Phone died. All good." Day 5 was when I saw it. I was not looking for proof. That is the cruel part. I was eating lunch at my desk, scrolling through Instagram just to distract myself from how quiet my phone had been, when a post from his friend Rachel appeared on my screen. A group photo at a brewery, and there was Nolan, smiling, laughing, sitting right beside Daniela Voss. Daniela, his ex-girlfriend. The woman he had dated for 2 years before me. The woman he once described as history. The woman he said he would never speak to again because things between them were too complicated. His arm was not around her, but they were close. Too close. His shoulder leaned toward hers. She was wearing a black coat, smiling like she knew exactly where she belonged. Nolan was wearing the watch I had bought him for his birthday. Rachel's caption read, "Reunited, and it feels so good. Number squad back. Number good vibes." My hands went cold. I called Nolan immediately. Straight to voicemail. I texted, "Saw Rachel's post. What's going on?" No reply. Then I texted Rachel, "Hey, I didn't know Nolan was hanging out with you guys. Thought he needed alone time." She replied almost instantly, "Oh no, he didn't tell you?" "Yeah, he's been staying at Daniela's place since Wednesday. I thought you knew, sorry." I read that message over and over. Since Wednesday. That was day 3, the day he stopped texting. I called Nolan 6 more times. Nothing. Finally, at 2 in the morning, he texted, "Can we talk tomorrow? I'm really tired." "No," I replied. "We talk now. Call me." He did not call. Instead, he sent a paragraph. I didn't plan this. I ran into Daniela at a coffee shop Tuesday and we started talking. It felt easy. She invited me to hang out with old friends, and I said yes. I've been staying in her guest room because it was easier than an Airbnb. Nothing happened. I just needed space, and this felt like the right place to get it. I'm not ready to come home yet. I need more time. Guest room. Sure. I stared at the screen until the words blurred. The next morning, I did not beg. I did not scream. I texted him one sentence. Take all the time you need. Then I called my friend Chris, who worked in real estate, and asked the question Nolan never expected me to ask. If I need to pull out of a house deposit, what happens? Chris went quiet for a second after I told him everything. I could hear office noise behind him, phones ringing, people talking, the ordinary world continuing while mine quietly collapsed. Get your money back, he said finally. Don't wait for him to decide what story he wants to tell you. That sentence stayed with me. I contacted the seller's agent that afternoon. We were still within the inspection period, which meant I could back out and recover the full deposit. My hands shook while I signed the cancellation paperwork, but I signed anyway. Then I called my bank and moved my $45,000 into a separate account Nolan could not access. After that, I changed the locks on my apartment. Maybe some people would call that petty. I called it memory. My name was on the lease. He had moved in 2 years ago, bringing boxes and promises and the kind of smile that once made me believe he would never make me feel foolish. Nolan did not text me for 4 days. On the 5th day, his message arrived like nothing had happened. I think I'm ready to come home. Can we talk tonight? I stared at it for a while before replying. Sure. What time? 7. Okay. He showed up at 7:15. By then, I had spent the afternoon packing his things into boxes. Not cruelly. I folded his clothes, wrapped his shaving kit, stacked his books neatly. I did not break anything. I did not throw anything into trash bags. I gave his belongings more respect than he had given our engagement. When he stepped inside and saw the boxes lined against the wall, he froze. What is this? Sit down, I said. No, he said, looking from the boxes to me. Tell me what this is. I pulled out of the house. I got my deposit back. I changed the locks. I'm done. His face went white. What? Kathleen, why? I told you nothing happened. You lied to me. I needed space. You said you needed space. You didn't say you needed space with your ex-girlfriend. You didn't say you would be staying at Daniela's place. You disappeared for days, stopped answering my calls, and expected me to wait here like a fool. His eyes filled. I was confused. Then you should have said that. You should have said, Kathleen, I ran into Daniela, and I need to figure out what I'm feeling. But you didn't. You hid it because you knew exactly how wrong it was. I was scared. So you let me sit here planning a wedding and a mortgage while you played guest room with your ex? He flinched. That's not fair. No, Nolan. What's not fair is finding out from Rachel that my fiancé has been sleeping under another woman's roof while telling me he needed rest. He started crying then. I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you. We can fix this. I looked at the boxes. The pasta pot from that night was still in the drying rack. Somehow, that hurt the most. I don't think we can. Please don't do this, he whispered. We built a life together. We were supposed to get married, I said. Past tense. He reached for my arm. I don't want Daniela. I want you. I pulled away. Then why were you at her place for a week? He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. That's what I thought. I told him he could collect the boxes the next day. He left sobbing, but I felt strangely numb, like my heart had stepped outside my body to watch from a safer distance. 2 days later, Nolan's brother Mason called me. Mason and I had always gotten along. He was supposed to stand beside Nolan at the wedding. Kathleen, he said, voice heavy, I need to tell you something. Nolan is going to hate me, but you deserve to know. My stomach tightened. Okay, he slept with Daniela. I closed my eyes. He told me last night, Mason continued. He said it happened once, the second night he was there, and he regretted it immediately, but he did it. I had suspected it. Of course I had. But suspicion is a shadow. Confirmation is a blade. Why are you telling me? I asked. Because he is planning to lie. He thinks if he says nothing physical happened, he can still get you back. I can't let him do that to you. Thank you, I said, though the words barely came out. I'm sorry, Mason replied. For what it's worth, I told him he was an idiot. That evening, Nolan texted, Can we please meet? I need to explain everything. I owe you that. I agreed to meet him at a park near our apartment. Neutral ground. Open air. No boxes. No shared walls. No place for old memories to make me weak. He looked like he had not slept in days. I'm so sorry, he began. I know I hurt you, but I need you to understand. Daniela and I have history. Seeing her brought up old feelings, but they're not real. It was nostalgia. You're my future. You're the one I want to marry. Did you sleep with her? I asked. He hesitated. Just 1 second. But I saw it. No, he said. I swear nothing physical happened. I laughed. I actually laughed because the lie was so small compared to everything it was trying to cover. Mason already told me the truth. His face collapsed. He what? He told me you slept with her, so you can stop performing now. It was a mistake, Nolan said quickly. It didn't mean anything. I regretted it the second it happened. Stop. Kathleen, please. I don't care about your excuses. You cheated. You lied. And even now, you were going to keep lying. I'll do anything, he said. Therapy. I'll block Daniela. I'll never speak to her again. I already moved on emotionally, I said. I'm done. This conversation is just a formality. He stared at me like he was finally seeing the consequence instead of just fearing it. You're really going to throw away 4 years because of one mistake? No, I said. You threw away 4 years. I'm just accepting it. I walked away while he was still sitting there. 3 weeks later, he texted me. The break is over. I've had time to think, and I'm ready to work on us. Can I come home? I read the message twice because I could not believe the arrogance of it. Not sadness, not guilt. Arrogance. He truly thought my life had paused while he wandered through his confusion. I replied, You don't have a home here anymore. I'm seeing someone else. That last part was a lie. I was not seeing anyone. But I wanted him to feel for 1 second what it was like to be replaced by a sentence. He called immediately. I did not answer. He called again and again until I blocked him. Then Daniela called. I almost ignored it, but curiosity won. Hey, she said, sounding uncomfortable. I just wanted to apologize. I didn't know you two were engaged when he showed up. He made it sound like you were on a break. We weren't on a break, I said. He lied to you too. She sighed. Yeah, I'm realizing that. He's been trying to stay with me, and I told him no. I don't want that kind of drama. I'm not trying to steal your fiancé. He's not my fiancé anymore. Fair, she said quietly. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I hung up feeling oddly calm. It has been 2 months now. Nolan moved back in with his parents. I heard through Mason that he tried to get back together with Daniela, but she was not interested. Apparently, he burned that bridge faster than he expected. I got my $45,000 back from the house deposit. I am looking at places on my own now. Smaller places. Quieter places. Places that will belong only to me. Nolan's friends have reached out, saying he made a mistake, saying everyone deserves a second chance. I blocked most of them. The ones who knew where he was and said nothing can stay exactly where they are outside my life. Mason still texts sometimes to apologize for his brother. I told him it is not his fault. Nolan's parents offered to cover half the lost wedding deposits, which surprised me. His father called and said he was disappointed in his son. That meant more than I expected. As for me, I am doing okay. Some days still hurt. I will see something that reminds me of Nolan, and the ache will come back sharp and sudden. But mostly, I feel relieved, like I stepped away from a house right before the foundation cracked. I do not think I will ever trust the phrase, "I need space," the same way again. But I learned something important. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Nolan showed me he could lie, hide, cheat, and come back expecting the door to still be open. I am glad I found out before the mortgage, before the vows, before the life I almost built with him became harder to leave. I'm 29. I have time. And next time, I will know the difference between someone who needs rest and someone who needs permission to betray me.